car 1, the Fisker Ocean, already gone. We are starting here because no other vehicle in the American market has produced a worse financial outcome for its owners. And because it proves something every EV buyer needs to understand before they sign anything. In June 2024, Fisker Inc. filed for bankruptcy. The company had delivered approximately 11,000 Ocean SUVs, vehicles that started at $37,499 and went up to $68,999 for the extreme trim. Buyers had researched the car, liked the design, trusted the brand. Some had waited over a year for delivery. The day Fisker went bankrupt, their warranties became worthless. Their software updates stopped. Their customer service line went silent. The cars were still physically drivable, but the connected features, the over-the-air updates, the remote access, the service network, all of it gone. Owners formed a nonprofit just to try to keep their cars functional. The liquidation court approved selling remaining inventory to a company called American Lease for $16,500 per vehicle, brand new, unsold. $69,000 cars, $16,500. That is your market signal. In England, a Fisker dealer simply abandoned 9 Ocean SUVs on the side of a road, factory stickers still attached, after the company declared bankruptcy in Europe in October 2024. Nobody wanted them. By May 2025, Fisker owners lost access to cloud services entirely. No streaming, no traffic updates, no remote diagnostics. Their cars had become, as owners described on social media, bricks on wheels with a nice interior. The Fisker Ocean is the most important vehicle on this list. Not because of what it means for Fisker owners, they already know, but because it proves what happens when an EV brand fails. Your warranty is gone. Your parts supply dries up. Your car's value does not fall gradually. It collapses the same week the news breaks. Car 2, the Jaguar I-Pace. Worst depreciation of any vehicle in America. IEC Cars analyzed over 800,000 used vehicles sold between March 2024 and February 2025. Of all 800,000 vehicles in the study, not just EVs, not just SUVs, every car across every segment. The single worst depreciating vehicle in America is the Jaguar I-Pace at 72.2% over 5 years. That is a dollar loss of over $51,953 on the average example. A 2019 I-Pace E-Fi 400 First Edition that sold new for $86,895 is now worth approximately $21,600. That is 24.9% of its original purchase price. And here is what makes this worse than just a depreciation number. As of December 31st, 2025, Jaguar stopped selling new petrol or electric vehicles in the United States. The brand has halted production entirely while it attempts a relaunch as an ultra-luxury all-electric manufacturer, with a first new model targeted at over $200,000. No confirmed launch date, no confirmed model lineup. Dealers are currently surviving on Land Rover service revenue, while Jaguar figures out what it is. During April 2025, Jaguar registered just 49 vehicles across all of Europe in a single month. For context, Toyota sold that many RAV4s every 2 hours. If you own a used I-Pace, you own a car. From a brand that is not currently selling new vehicles, from a dealer uncertain about their own future, with 6 open recalls, the majority concerning battery fire risk, and a parts network that becomes thinner every quarter. Car 3, the Tesla Model S, the most expensive depreciation in dollar terms. The Tesla Model S loses 65.2% of its value in 5 years, according to the IC Cars 2025 study. On a vehicle that commonly sold for $90,000 to $110,000 when new, that is a dollar loss that regularly exceeds $65,000. The mechanism is specific. Tesla repeatedly cut new Model S prices, sometimes dramatically, sometimes with little warning. Every time they did, the used examples you owned became worth less overnight. You had no control, no warning, and no recourse. Then, Hertz began dumping their used Tesla fleet in 2024. Not Model S specifically, but the volume of cheap Teslas flooded every price tier of the used EV market, suppressing what any Tesla owner could get on trade. For Model S owners, the math is blunt. You may have bought a luxury technology statement. The used market is currently treating it as a rapidly aging technology product, because in EV terms, that is what it is. A 2020 Model S has less range, slower charging, and older software than a 2025 Model 3. The used market prices that gap mercilessly. Car 4, the Nissan Leaf, a cautionary tale for the mainstream buyer. The IC Cars 2025 study shows the Nissan Leaf losing 64.1% of its value in 5 years, a dollar loss of $18,403. For a mainstream vehicle that positioned itself as the affordable, practical EV for everyday Americans, that number is devastating. The core problem is one that Nissan has never fully acknowledged in marketing. The Leaf uses an air-cooled battery pack, not liquid-cooled. In heat, in fast charging, and over time, air-cooled batteries degrade faster. Leaf owners in hot states like Arizona, Texas, and California have reported losing 20 to 30% of their rated range within 4 years of ownership. A car advertised at 150 miles of range is now delivering 100 miles of real-world range. In 2026, a used Leaf with a degraded battery competes against brand new EVs from Chevy and Hyundai that offer 250-plus miles with faster charging and full warranties. The used market does not pay a premium for nostalgia. It pays for range and reliability, and the first-generation Leaf offers neither against current competition. Nissan's response has been to largely abandon the Leaf, with the Ariya positioned as its EV successor. Dealers know the Leaf trade-in story. They have been telling it quietly for 3 years. This channel tracks exactly what dealers already know about the US car market, before most buyers find out. Every video we publish is built on public data that your salesperson has already seen. Subscribe now. 5 cars remain on this list, and 2 of them involve brands you may be actively shopping right now. Car 5, the Audi e-tron/Q8 e-tron. The Audi e-tron, now rebranded the Q8 e-tron, loses over 60% of its value in 5 years. On a vehicle that started at $74,800 new, that is a loss exceeding $44,000 in 5 years. The valuation services that track this market are consistent. The Audi e-tron sits among the top depreciating luxury EVs in every analysis. The reason is layered. First-generation premium EVs built on platforms designed before the current generation of 800-volt charging architecture look dated to informed buyers. The e-tron charges at speeds that newer, cheaper EVs match or exceed. Second, the repair and maintenance cost structure of a luxury EV with a complex air suspension, high-voltage battery system, and premium interior at 60,000 miles and out of warranty is a number most buyers calculate before they purchase. They calculate it and walk away. Audi has since committed to new EV platforms. But the first-generation e-tron and Q8 e-tron owners absorb the depreciation of that product generation shift. The dealers know. That is why trade-in offers on a 3-year-old Q8 e-tron land with a thud. Car 6, the Chevrolet Bolt EV, original generation. The original Chevrolet Bolt EV launched in 2017 as America's first genuinely affordable long-range electric car. It was a legitimate milestone. And then, in 2021, GM issued what became one of the largest EV recalls in American history. 142,000 Bolt EVs recalled over risk of battery fire. Owners were told not to park in garages, not to charge to full capacity overnight, and to keep the car away from structures while charging. For months, GM eventually replaced battery modules, but the reputational damage to the used market was irreversible. The Bolt EV's value dropped and stayed down. By 2023, GM had discontinued the original Bolt entirely, before relaunching a new version in 2024. That discontinuation created a moment familiar to anyone who watched Holden in Australia. The moment the announcement comes, and the damage is done. A 2020 or 2021 Bolt EV today is an orphaned generation from a discontinued model with a documented recall history. The pool of buyers who will consider it without deep discounting is thin. Dealers know this. The trade-in offers reflected immediate. Car 7, the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Taylor in Georgia, is not an anomaly. IC Cars data shows the Ford Mustang Mach-E losing 60.9% of its value in 5 years, leaving a resale value of just $14,769 on a car that commonly sold for $46,000 to $58,000 new. After 3 years, owners are looking at 43.9% gone, approximately $21,000 in resale on a $38,000 purchase. Ford tried to protect resale value by attaching the Mustang name to an electric crossover. The strategy worked in showrooms. It failed in used car lots. Buyers looking at a used Mach-E in 2026 are comparing it against brand new Korean EVs with more range, faster charging, and full federal tax credit eligibility, sometimes at a lower price than the used Mach-E. Ford's own internal residual value projections, leaked to dealers before launch, showed the company expected poor resale from the beginning. They built that expectation into lease terms. The question is whether the buyers who financed these vehicles were told the same thing at point of sale. Most were not. Taylor was not. Car 8, the Tesla Model X. The Tesla Model X loses 63.4% of its value in 5 years, per IC Cars, 2025, on a vehicle that commonly sold for $90,000 to over $120,000 at peak demand. That depreciation represents dollar losses of $57,000 to $76,000 in 5 years. The specific dynamic with the Model X is what happens when a brand floods its own used market. When Hertz bought 100,000 Teslas in 2021 and began liquidating them in 2024 at panic sale prices, every Tesla owner, including Model X owners, saw their used value suppressed. A car is worth what a willing buyer will pay. When a willing buyer can get a Hertz-sold Tesla for $19,000 under market, the market adjusts. Add to this the unique repair cost exposure of the Model X, the Falcon wing doors, the complex suspension, the proximity sensor systems, which at 5 years and out of warranty can produce repair estimates that exceed what the car is worth. The used market prices that risk into the offer before you sit down to negotiate. Car 9, the Mercedes EQS. The Mercedes EQS arrived in 2022 as the German luxury establishment's definitive answer to Tesla. Starting price, $104,400. It offered a 350-mile range, a stunning hyperscreen interior, and every premium feature Mercedes could engineer into a single vehicle. By 2025, a 3-year-old EQS was listing at $50,000 to $55,000 at major US dealers. That is a loss of over $50,000 in 3 years, on a vehicle that was marketed as the future of luxury transportation. The mechanism is the same one damaging every premium EV. Buyers know that software and battery technology move faster than the traditional luxury depreciation curve. A $100,000 Mercedes from 2010 retains exclusivity and mechanical character over time. A $100,000 Mercedes EV from 2022 is, by 2025, competing on specs against a Tesla Model S Plaid and Lucid Air that outperform it in range and charging speed. The used market for ultra-luxury EVs in the United States is thin. Fewer buyers, slower turns, and lower offers to compensate for the risk of sitting on inventory. Recharged, a used EV specialist, noted explicitly in their 2026 analysis, luxury EVs that sold new for $80,000 to $120,000 can appear irresistible at half price. The catch is that one out-of-warranty battery module, air suspension component, or charging fault can erase your savings in a single repair. Here's what you can do right now, today, with this information. If you own one of the vehicles on this list, get a Kelley Blue Book valuation and a CarGurus market price on your specific car. Write down the number, come back in 90 days, and get another one. If the gap between those two numbers is larger than normal seasonal depreciation, the market is not telling you your car aged. It is telling you something specific about your brand's position. That is your signal, and it is more reliable than anything a dealer will tell you at the trade-in desk. If you are shopping for a new EV in 2026, the data is pointing in one direction clearly. Self-charging hybrids from Toyota and Lexus are outperforming every EV segment on resale. Among pure EVs, The Tesla Model Y and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 are the only two models in the IC car study that stayed below the 58.8% EV depreciation average. Everything else is above it. The people on this list, Taylor in Georgia, the Fisker Ocean owners who formed a nonprofit to keep their cars running, the Jaguar I-Pace buyers sitting on a car worth a quarter of what they paid, did not make bad decisions. They made decisions without this information. That information gap is closing, but only for the people paying attention. Subscribe now. Every week, we show you exactly what is moving in the US car market before it moves past you.